The truth! You can't handle the truth!
I'm going to present 4 different videos. The first 3 are without sound. I don't have rights to the sound, so I have to do my thing to make it my own creation. The 4th one does have sound, but I will interrupt it as I go along with it with a few comments. But I will be commenting during the first 3. The first video is about artificial intelligence and robotics. The other day I had said something in my live stream about robotics going to replace a lot of jobs in the near future. It started off with the idea that, let me go ahead and start the video. It started off with the idea that by 2028, which is just around the corner, a lot of jobs will be replaced, school jobs will be replaced by artificial intelligence. And by 2029, emergency room and hospitals and doctor offices will be run by artificial intelligence and robotics, including your primary care physician and emergency room doctors. Here, I told you all that by 2040, they predict that robots will be in the construction zone. But this is by Boston Dynamics, the same people that made the dog. And you'll see this robot jumping around here. And it's on a construction site, guys, a simulated construction site. And look at the somersault it did, 540 degree. Anyway, the point is that they predict this will be commonplace on the job site by 2030, the end of the decade, in new construction, not remodeling or anything like that, but new construction, massive job sites. You will see these replacing laborers and other jobs within the end of the decade. That's something to be concerned about, guys. And the next video is about lightning rods and laser beams. They have found out that they can use laser beams to excite electrons in the clouds above and create electricity and direct that electricity to a lightning rod. The idea is that lightning rods we have are 1,000 feet tall and they're unsightly as hell, right? Okay, so that's no big deal, but they save us from getting hit by lightning, which is destructive in itself. So now they said that, well, they can direct the lightning energy, the energy from the clouds, and direct it to a lightning rod that they position and control the lightning. And if you read between the lines, guys, that means they can use this as a directed energy weapon. Mobile, on trucks and other things. You can see this as it's snaking through this, and it connects, it wraps itself around the laser beam, and that laser beam directs it to a connecting rod, a grounded rod. And it's takes no imagination to realize that, yeah, this is a directed energy weapon. So when we talk about these fires that started somewhere out of nowhere, well, what do you think is starting them? The third video is about a drone. The other day I talked about a gas-powered drone, and this is it right here. I'm going to let y'all look at it a little bit, and they're talking about it. I took out the sound, so you have to listen to me talking. But this is a gas or a turbine, jet turbine engine, four engines on this mounted, 4 vector engines mounted on a drone that can be fitted in the back of an SUV. And it has vertical takeoff, then it has flight that it can do. And they will show you here in a minute as the video goes along and everything like this. Guys, I thought this was just completely amazing. And it cruises at 230 miles an hour. That's a cruising speed. Its acceleration rate is much higher than that. They didn't give that out, but it said it's capable of, I would say, 250 to 270 miles an hour in a straight shot, rush, or whatever you want to call it. But the idea, guys, about this is it has low noise. You don't hear it unless you're up on it. Now, can you imagine seeing one of these things at night when you're about a half mile away, which is 2,600 feet, or maybe a quarter mile, which is 1,300 feet, or even an eighth mile, which is 660 feet. So an eighth mile is 2 football fields. So, you got that, guys, right there. So that thing goes through the sky, just lickety-split. You see this at night with dancing lights on it. What do you think it is? Especially if it has things dangling from it like lights or a tank dropping water or liquids. And again, 230 miles an hour. With the 4 vector jets, it can change direction almost immediately. like a Ospreys and things like that. So, and here it is coming in for a landing. It does a vertical landing also, and then turns itself off. I don't know if it's autonomous or not, but guys, this is our future of warfare. Now, the fourth video, I'll let it play by itself, but let y'all see this and everything like that. But guys, this is just amazing, completely amazing what they got. The next video I have is about Star Wars, Space Wars, Satellite Wars. I made a video a few weeks ago about satellite wars, this very subject, and it seems like it has come to pass that they are actually doing this. They have satellite killers up in space. So when we see these odd things coming down from our skies, wondering what they are and everything like that, well, I told you all a few weeks ago that they're using satellite wars. And this video proves what I'm talking about. I'll have comments at the end.
Funding round first. When do you deploy that capital? What really injects the growth for the business?
We're really stepping up alongside Guardians in the Space Force. The Space Force budget in FY27 is expected to be $72 billion. That tells you a lot about the kinds of capabilities the United States Space Force needs to build to counter China and Russia. We are investing in the staff and the products and the infrastructure that's necessary to come alongside Guardians to build combat capability for space warfare.
Let's talk about your products. What makes you unique, distinct, and additive to the others? Because it's ferocious out there in the world of defense tech. It's a really hot space.
So I served 10 years in the Air Force and then transitioned into the United States Space Force. And what I saw from the Defense Industrial Base is a focus on dual-use technologies. And there's good reason for that. But because space is now a warfighting domain, it's very clear that the operational concepts for space warfare necessitate dedicated space warfighting systems. They have a completely different performance envelope than commercial capabilities. They're quite literally going to get shot at. And so our focus is on clean sheet design to deploy operational concepts into the domain. So Jackal, for example, our first product is a clean sheet space-to-space engagement platform. It's not designed to do anything else other than protection and surveillance of the domain.
Evan, we're very excited about this domain, right? Space as a warfighting domain, the technology you're doing. I'm going to try and bring it back down to earth a little bit for the Bloomberg Tech audience. So Jackal, you mentioned, it's a highly maneuverable vehicle. It moves around other satellites in orbit. Explain the basics of that, right? Our audience are tuning in and going, okay, so space is a warfighting domain. You make vehicles that are in space and it moves around other satellites. Take it from there.
That's right. Our adversaries deploy into orbits that we don't necessarily have capabilities in. For example, geosynchronous orbit, which is 22,000 miles from the surface of the Earth, is a long way for a ground-based telescope to be able to really characterize what our adversaries are doing. So we need systems that have the maneuverability, the fuel, the acceleration to be able to chase those targets down and take pictures of them. The foundation of combat capability is intelligence, and so the first order of business is to really understand what our adversaries are up to in space, and Jackal is purpose-built to go after highly maneuverable targets.
Evan, who's the counterpart to True Anomaly? Does China have a company or a competence in the same domain that you think about?
China doesn't have necessarily a company that's focused on space warfighting, but their entire military-industrial complex is blended with their commercial manufacturing infrastructure. So everything China does really for civil or for commercial has military applications. And we're starting to see that particularly in their intelligence platforms. China over the last several years has deployed about 1,300 spacecraft into low Earth orbit. About 500 of those are intelligence platforms. Those intelligence platforms are designed to track terrestrial forces, so maritime forces, aviation systems, and ground capabilities. So it's very difficult for the United States to maneuver globally without China seeing where we're going.
As you heard in the video, he was talking about how in China their technology moves up and down the ladder both ways as far as scalability. That's one of those key words we keep hearing about it. The thing is, in the United States and a lot of Western worlds, is our what they call scalability is usually downward towards the public, the consumers. We get the trickle-down theory. Remember that from Ronald Reagan, the trickle-down theory? Whereas in China and other countries, it's scalable not only up, but also down and sideways, if you will. In other words, their technology can be used on multiple levels, even in space technology. which is amazing, which means that their technology in their cell phone can be used for space or warfare. And isn't that something? That's something that we don't really have here in the United States, except they use it to track us. So their scalability is very mobile, where ours is very rigid, and they defeat us in all areas on this scalability problem. So that's one of the issues that we have to face from all this right now, is that we are rigid, whereas they're more flexible in what they're doing. Anyway, I hope y'all have a groovy day. Take this information as you will. It is for entertainment and education purposes only, so take it as you will. But anyway, you have a groovy day. Do something nice for somebody. It's always the best thing to do. Put your best foot forward and your best smile forward. Later, taters.
Attention passengers, we've now reached our destination. We hope you enjoyed the flight and have a nice day.